How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Megaman X. Last time we took out the first 4 Mavericks, so we're going to be moving on. Let's go get Sting Chameleon. Main reason being not the boss himself, but an upgrade that's on his level. For those of you who didn't see the first episode, this is a 100% run of Megaman X for the Super NES. And I'm going to be going Buster only for the original set of bosses, just because I can. As far as what I think about the game, well, I already pretty much went over all that in the first episode, so we're just going to be talking about the levels. Obviously, we got a little bit of a jungle theme going on here. First thing you're going to want to do, however, is jump up to the top. It's conveniently placed square boulders fall. Now basically, the way to beat this dude is to shoot him in the head, but you'll notice he actually does have a frame or a hitbox on his chest as well. It's just a little bit hard to hit sometimes. You don't take damage from the chain, only from the hand, so you can sort of jump in between, get a couple of hits in. And you can also shoot him in the arm. So really the main thing that's blocking the hits are the hands themselves. This guy takes a little bit to go down if you're using the Buster, just because of those the hitboxes, really. But it's well worth it to beat the guy. Keep going. He's more tedious than difficult. Still going. There we go. Oh, look at that. Another upgrade. This is one of the more useful ones, actually. In fact, probably after the leg upgrade, it is the most useful. This is the body upgrade. And look at that. We're fully armored now. So basically what this did, or does, is allows you to take half damage. So you can, in a way, think of it as having double your health bar. Because in practice, that's what it ends up being. So quite useful. Don't mistime your shot on those guys, otherwise he will do nothing. Of course, you can just jump over them too, but where's the fun in that, right? Now, there's actually another upgrade back there that I didn't get, but that's because we actually can't get it yet. If you recall, last time I mentioned that you have to unlock certain areas of the levels, you have to beat them like in a certain order, or at least defeat certain bosses before going back into them. So there's a secret over there that will only appear after you've beaten Launch Octopus. Or at least you can only get it after you've beaten him. Hey, remember these? These are fun. Don't worry too much about sinking down into the swamp. Nothing really happens. This does make it nice and easy to get through all those enemies without taking any damage. And unfortunately, no, you cannot take the mech into the boss room. And if you played this as a kid, you certainly must have tried that. I know I did. But it doesn't work. Maybe you can Game Shark it in, who knows. Okay, boss number 5, I guess. This is Sting Chameleon. This guy used to give me a lot of trouble when I was younger, and he's really not that difficult. If you have the body upgrade especially, he doesn't do a particularly large amount of damage, as long as you don't clip into his frames. You're basically just going to want to jump up the wall and shoot him. I mean, you can kind of see where he's going to go with his silhouette there, which is a pretty cool effect for a 16-bit game. I always did like the way that 16-bit games did visual effects. But as you can see, it's pretty much just get near him, dash out of the way at the last second, and then shoot him. As you can see, that only did like 1 bar of health, so yeah. As long as you're dodging most of the stuff, you should be okay. By the way, his weakness is the boomerang cutter, if anyone would like to know that. And basically what it's going to do is actually when he gets knocked back from the boomerang cutter, he's going to get thrown into this sort of stagger pattern where he continually jumps up to the same area, so you can just hit him repeatedly. But we'll see that when we get to the Sigma stages, because as I said, I'm just going to start using the weaknesses once we get there, just in the interest of saving time. Otherwise, the Sigma stages would take a very, very long time. Okay. As you can see, this gets a little bit tedious, so I start getting a little bit more reckless and taking more hits. Whatever beats him faster, I suppose. As I said, he doesn't do that much damage, so you can pretty much afford to do that. And you're dead. Glorious 16-bit explosions. Beautiful. I know I say it every time, but it really is. Okay, that's going to get us the Chameleon Sting, which is the weakness of the Storm Eagle, who we already beat, so whoopee. Let's go ahead and do Spark Mandrill. I always imagine him making the Tusken Raider noise from Star Wars when he does that. No, I'm not going to make the noise for you. Sorry. So you notice we got the crashed remains of Storm Eagle's ship here. Basically what would happen if we didn't defeat Storm Eagle first is that there would be electrical pulses running through these this piping here, which would make the level a little bit more difficult to navigate. There's another upgrade down and to the left, but we can't get it yet because we don't have the correct item, so we'll be coming back for that. I believe at the end of this episode I put in all the cleanup as far as missed upgrades and stuff, so we'll get to see those. I hate dark rooms in platformers, I really do. Fortunately, this one's not too bad. There are some in other Mega Man games that are just horribly, horribly, horribly jerkish. Also, this level has a mini-boss. By the way, if we hadn't defeated Storm Eagle first, he would be able to shoot lightning at us, but he actually can't, so all you have to watch out for is getting jumped on. That right there would normally shoot lightning, but it doesn't now. This guy actually does do crazy amounts of damage if he hits you, so watch out for that. But he goes down pretty easily. It's one of the best songs in the game, by the way. Yeah, it's great. Okay, enough listening to the song. Back to commentary. We got more dark rooms here. This part you don't have to worry as much because there aren't any pits, so you can kind of, rush your way through it if you really want to. Best way to deal with these guys is just to get off a charge shot and then repeatedly tap the fire button for sort of a rapid fire thing. They do have quite a bit of health, but they should go down pretty easily if you do that. Now what you're going to want to do in this room is watch out again, because once again we have bottomless pits and dark areas. And then these little guys that fly across the screen and ram into you. Usually there's not too much of a problem with them knocking you off the edge, but sometimes there is. Now if you're a veteran of this game, you may have noticed that I missed another upgrade. That one was just because I forgot it, but we'll be going back to get it later. Alright, boss time. As I said before, this is Spark Mandrill. Hopefully I just edited in a Tusken Raider noise there. No, I didn't, sorry. But you can imagine it. Now, basically what you want to watch out for with him is that when he goes up on the ceiling, he's going to drop down as soon as he gets to you. He's going to punch the wall, which will actually make you fall off and into him, so watch out for that. And otherwise, he's not such a big deal. This guy actually does a lot of damage when he hits you, so watch out for that. But the main thing you have to worry about is him punching the wall, because, well, he's dead now anyway, but your natural reaction a lot of times will be to just jump up the wall, but he actually will knock you off, so watch out for that. Regardless, he's dead. Next. And that will get us Electro Shock, or whatever the heck it's called. Electric something. Alright, we got 2 more. Let's head on over to Launch Octopus stage. Because every 2D platformer has to have a water level. Funny story, when I used to play this as a kid, I mentioned that I played it at friends' houses. Well, I also played it on an emulator sometimes. And the emulator that I used to use back then, I can't remember the name of it. It was one of the older ones that I don't think they developed for anymore. It wasn't ZSNES, it was another one. It actually had a problem rendering the water. So the water would just be a solid blue color. And so I wouldn't be able to see anything. And so I would have to actually go into the layers and disable that layer so that I could see what was going on. Kind of weird. Regardless, if you're playing that on the actual NES, or sorry, Super NES, shouldn't be a big deal. Or if you're playing it on a modern emulator. But we wouldn't do that, would we? Now, these little mini-boss guys, I think I've died more to these guys than to certain bosses, just because of the fan. See where they suck you in like that, over spikes. Not fun. I would recommend just probably focusing on getting away for that portion of the fight. They don't have a ton of HP, so... Oh, look at that, extra life. Once again, we're not going to be needing that, but hey. You can also come over here for a little health boost. And in order to access a secret, we're going to go ahead and destroy this floating whale ship thing. This thing is then going to fall onto a bed of spikes, breaking open a secret area. And we're going to be fighting another mini-boss. This is the giant sea serpent guy. It's not too hard because you can just jump on his back and do this. Now you notice there were spikes below. The way to tell where to jump is actually, you want to aim at where those pillars are. A little bit of good game design there. So as long as you're landing where the pillars are, you know there's a platform there rather than spikes. Once he's gone, you can go over here and grab yourself another heart tank. And we can make our way onwards. And just in case you, you know, really loved that mini-boss fight, we're going to fight him again. The other one's optional. This one's actually required to progress. Obviously we don't have the spike hazard here, but he's a little bit more annoying to fight because he will burrow into the ground, then you have to wait, then he comes up, then he goes back in. But he's still not really a big deal. Again, the best way to deal with him is actually to just jump on his back. Otherwise, just trying to jump up and then hit him, it can take a while. There we go. But as I said, he does go down fairly easily. And I love the way he explodes in segments like that. It's very cool. Good job, Capcom. Good job. Because that was necessary. Okay, moving on to Launch Octopus. Watch this little taunt he does in the beginning. Oh, told. This guy does tend to get in your face a little bit. However, if you do have the body upgrade and some of the heart tanks, you can pretty much outlast him. One thing you want to watch out for is that tornado-ish move, because he will actually suck your health, and that's not so good. You also can't hurt him while he does this, so it gets a little bit annoying when he sort of spams it, like so. His weakness, by the way, is supposedly the rolling shield, although I haven't had a great amount of success with that. You can use the boomerang cutter to actually cut his tentacles off so that he will only shoot missiles, which is pretty useful. I would recommend just doing that and then using the buster after his tentacles come off, but he goes down, once again, fairly easily. That win will get us the homing torpedo, or again, whatever it's called. You can figure out what it does probably from the name. And we got one guy left. Ah yes, the Boomer Coanger, which is apparently an animal. I guess it's a bug. Also wonderful music on this level, just listen to that synthesizer. That's pretty great. This level's got a pretty dark and gloomy palette, but it's pretty good nonetheless. This is one of those levels where a lot of the time you're going to be sort of ascending. Also check this out. Some Mission Impossible stuff going on right here. Now, what you want to do there is stay out of the lasers because they will actually make those little floating things shoot you. So, generally a good idea not to jump into them. Anyways, what I was saying was that this level has quite a bit of a vertical element to it, which, with the scrolling screen, it works a heck of a lot better than the classic Mega Man. If you remember trying to play, like, Elec Man stage in the original Mega Man, it's a nightmare. But it works pretty well here. Not much to say here, pretty self-explanatory. Don't get hit by the spikes because it's a Mega Man game. You will die. I've never been a fan of, you know, insta-kills with spikes in games, but I mean, if they actually did change that in Mega Man, it would completely change the way that the game worked, I suppose, so. You see what I mean about the vertical element? Can you imagine trying to do something like this in the original Mega Man? Oh wait, they have that. It's called Elec Man Stage, as I said. Yeah, the original Mega Man's made me rage pretty hard. But, who knows, maybe I'll do a playthrough of that. Probably not. For now, let's focus on this, shall we? You may notice there's a heart tank right there. We actually need the boomerang cutter for that, so... Hey, a little bit of lag. That was wonderful. So, we're gonna have to defeat this boss and then come right back into his stage. By the way, if you want to make it through this really easily, just use the Chameleon Sting and charge it up, because it'll give you pretty much invincibility for a certain amount of time. You can just sort of run through everybody, taking no damage. Alright, the Boomer Coenger. As far as his strategy goes, my recommendation is actually just to stand still and continually pelt him with buster shots. You notice because he gets shot back, or knocked back, just from a regular shot, you can pretty much just spam that and win. Which is funny, because I used to have a lot of trouble with this guy when I was younger, but I guess that was because I was trying to dodge all of his attacks. He's actually easier if you just sort of spam. Sometimes he'll get locked into this disappearing pattern as well, where he'll just sort of do that repeatedly. Which means the chances of him hitting you are relatively low. And that's that. Cha-ching! And that nets us the Boomerang Cutter. I do remember the name of that one. Alright, so before we move on to the Sigma stages, we're going to go ahead and do some cleanup. But first, a cutscene. Okay, now we're going to do some cleanup. Essentially, at this point, I'm just going to be going back into all the levels and showing you where the upgrades I missed are. First one I already mentioned, this is in Spark Mandrill's stage. You're going to take the bottom path at the very beginning rather than the upper path. Shoot your way through a few dudes, and then we're going to use the Boomerang Cutter here to grab ourselves a sub-tank. You kind of have to hit it at the right angle, like so. Alright, same level. This is the one I just missed. As soon as you get to this part, you're going to just jump up here, and you can dash jump around the edge here. Like so. And Heart Tank. This one's pretty obvious. I already mentioned it. Let's try that again. There we go. Remember again, you can exit the level if the boss has been defeated. Okay, I mentioned this one as well. Once you've defeated the launch octopus, we get a layer of water here, which allows us to jump higher and make our way across here. Normally the water's not there, so you just fall to your death. Alright. Now, this is that Easter egg I was referring to before on Armored Armadillo stage. Basically, you're going to have to go here 4 times and jump up to that area where the health was, right here at the end. Once you've done that 4 times, if you have everything else unlocked, you're going to find this secret upgrade. And it is, in fact, the Hadouken. And it's done exactly how you would think it would be done. Quarter circle forward and fire button. This will kill pretty much anything instantly, so we're not going to be using it, but it's pretty amusing nonetheless. Alright, so next time we're going to be tackling the Sigma stages. Hope you guys stick around for that. I will see you next time.